What's going on, everyone? We are at the top of the world in Moab, Utah. We're gonna give you a little walk around our latest creation, the Ford Ranger, the Fun Runner.
We had this idea to take the Ranger platform and just kind of put our Ultra 4 inspired suspension underneath it and make it do all the things that I've been doing for years and years in a whole bunch of different off-road vehicles. So, you know, one of the really cool things about this truck is we took the Ultra 4 inspired IFS suspension, we partnered with Tech, told them the goals of the truck, what we wanted to do. We wanted an IFS suspension that, you know, had 15 inches of suspension travel, had coilovers and bypasses, you know, did all the stuff that Ultra 4 trucks, but in a Ford Ranger that, you know, had air conditioning and all those creature comforts as well. When we started with this project, we knew we wanted to use the same Spider-Trax parts that we use in our race trucks, but they had to be a little bit custom to fit underneath a Ford Ranger. So they built us a 20-inch wide custom IFS front axle housing, and we used the same Series 30 RCV, their 300M Series 30 RCV CVs, 45 spline axle shafts, and then for the center section, it's a 10-inch gear set with a 40 spline ARB. So, you know, this thing is completely beefy and built to take any abuse that you want to do with it. We went through a couple renditions on steering. We wanted to learn a little bit about, you know, what could fail, what could be the strongest points. You know, we started with a 37-inch Nitto trail grappler on here, but knowing that the goal was to get 40-inch sticky race tires on this truck. Billet centerline forged beadlock, which it's the lightest wheel I've ever touched. It's super cool. We started with the electric rack, went through and added a really cool swing set that Tech designed. In the end, ended up adding a hydraulic pump to the motor. So, you know, this truck's really turned out amazing. It's exceeding all our expectations. We've been here in Moab wheeling the whole week. We've climbed every crazy trail out here and literally haven't had to back off of anything, pull a winch cable on anything. You know, it's been really, really cool. Some of the cool aesthetics of the truck, you know, we really wanted to make sure this truck stuck out, that it was just really, really neat looking from the outside as well as performing well. So built a really cool integrated bumper that holds a Warren 9.0 RC winch, KC lights all over the truck, and then Ranger RTR grill, the RTR build. So, you know, the aesthetics on the truck really look amazing. You'll also notice adding the suspension that the truck got quite a bit wider. So it's got an 86-inch wide track width now, which really changes the performance, gives us more suspension travel, but keep the overall size of the truck. We got with AVD fiberglass, advanced fiberglass, and had them build a custom wide body for it. So this truck has 6-inch wider fenders all the way around that really help cover up the tires and make the truck look proportionally correct. So when you're out rock crawling and driving this truck through the crazy rocks, I mean, some of the really important things that you don't really think about a whole lot is having some rock rails to keep those rocks up on the side of the truck so that when you hit those boulders, you can kind of pivot off of it. You'll also kind of notice up underneath it that there's a solid skid plate across the whole bottom of it. So when you do get on those breakover angles and on those crazy climbs, you'll have, you know, plenty of protection up underneath there and won't damage any of the suspension components underneath it. You can kind of check out the interior a little bit. So, you know, with everything, we couldn't necessarily just leave the inside of the truck alone, and we've been developing these Recaro seats. So everything inside the truck is built for performance as well as comfort. We put a Fun Haver steering wheel in it. You can see the twin stick Atlas transfer case shifters as well as a handbrake. So you can see Vaughn's kind of his drift car coming through a little bit on the off-road side. So really neat. I'm still getting used to that a little bit, but just you know, really clean interior. Kibby did an amazing job on putting everything together in there. So for the rear suspension, you can kind of see the shocks that are pointing up through the bed here. We wanted to stick with a trailing arm style suspension, but we wanted to keep it up and out of the rocks and wanted to maintain the factory fuel cell. So with keeping that in mind, we had Tech do parallel links with the trailing arms as the uppers. The shocks are actually mounted on the uppers, and it keeps them up and out of the rocks a little bit. And it's got 5-link with a track bar that keeps the axle located. And all of that cycles around the fuel cell, the frame rails, all of that stuff. So, you know, the suspension's pulling about 16 inches of travel. We did a 2.5-inch King coilover and a 3-inch 5.2 bypass, which the ride and the suspension travel and, you know, this thing mobbing through the desert's just been unreal so far. So couple of the necessities that you can kind of see in the back of the truck. Whenever you're out on the trails on long days, you know, you carrying ice and coolers and dealing with that every day is just such a pain in the butt. So we went with a Type S blizzard box. So you know, that keeps all our drinks cool, our food cool. One of the other really important things to have on here is we did a dual Optima battery setup, built a really cool billet hold down box and dual batteries. So, you know, we can run the fridges, we can charge up all the cameras, we can do all that stuff all day long and not have to worry about it with our Optima batteries. You know, the truck has just absolutely worked amazing. You know, I can't wait to see all the other adventures we get to do in this truck. It's gonna go back to Farmington. We're gonna nut and bolt it and then end up on the Rubicon here pretty quick on it as well. So, you know, look forward to seeing everybody's adventures, and I hope you all follow along with it.